And really, I've only heard one person in this station talk about them and like them.
Really?
And then they were talked out of it this morning.
Okay, I was going to say, tell me who it is so I can publicly shame them.
Are we talking about Taysom Hill?
Yes.
Okay, yes. We're both talking about Taysom Hill. I'm not a Taysom Hill guy. I've never been a Taysom Hill guy. Is he a cute little gadget kind of player that you might be able to find a role for 5 times in a football game? Maybe. Probably more like 2 or 3 times in a football game. He's been one of the most overrated players in this era of football, in my opinion. You remember all those big plays that Taysom Hill made for the Saints on their way to a Super Bowl? Oh, you don't? That's because they don't exist. Taysom Hill is a good, fun little gadget player. When you're at the 2-yard line, could you line him up in the Wildcat and he can find the back of the end zone 50% of the time? Sure, he can. At 35 years old, are you going to rely upon that and risk future assets to bring that in?
Right.
I know I'm not. So I'm with you, man. Taysom Hill, thanks, but no thanks. This is a youth movement. This isn't about let's go find someone that Sean has a relationship with just for the sake of Sean have a relationship with.
Yeah.
The Bonds and the people that we've talked about. You want to talk about tight ends over there in New Orleans? Sure, we can do that. But Taysom Hill, get out of here with that nonsense.
Well, it's just the low-hanging fruit that everyone goes to. There's another guy that's about ready to get cut by the Bills. And we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show. But let's talk about Taysom Hill.
Out on him, too.
Can you just stop with the Sean has... I say this very kindly as this is, because this doesn't sound very nice.
Oh, nice. These are the best things.
What the hell did New Orleans win with all this?
Thank you.
We can go back to Drew Brees. Alex, when was Drew Brees' Super Bowl? 2009, is that right?
It was
Am I remembering? 2009? Okay.
They beat the Colts on
Taysom Hill wasn't there.
It's not like I was tracking or anything.
Taysom Hill wasn't there, okay? So let's talk about the current incarnation of the Saints players that he could possibly get. And everyone that comes up, I would way rather have Juwan Johnson than Taysom Hill.
Hell yeah.
1,000 times more. You can't go to something that didn't win anything and be like, you know what we need? More of that. More of that didn't work. Yeah. If you needed car parts, you wouldn't go, hey, what's that car that always broke down? I want more of that. If this was the Saints were, just like this dynasty and they won a bunch of games and they were always champions, and you'd say like, yeah, steal as much of that as you can. Get it over here. That would make sense. But when they didn't win anything with Taysom Hill, who's a gadget guy and now old, like, why would you want that? And yet, if you go on Twitter, I don't know what Drew's algorithm shows.
Twitter.
Bunch of Canadian stuff, but I know what my algorithm shows. A bunch of weird stuff, according to Drew. Like, you know what? It's all Broncos fans being like, we need Von Miller and Taysom Hill. No, you don't. We'll get to Von in a little bit later in the show. But right now on Taysom Hill, you don't need this.
No.
You don't need that guy. Go draft a young Taysom Hill. Go look for another type of player. Go get Juwan Johnson. Like, there's plenty of other free agent possibilities that are out there. It's not as simple as, who are all the former Saints that Sean can get? Give them to them all, because I'm just done with this conversation. I'm done with any Saint coming up and they're like, Sean Payton could get this. What did he win with them? Bumpkus.
Are there other markets out there talking about Taysom Hill? Or is it just this rekindle conversation that's happening here in Colorado?
Just here.
I'm with you.
Who would be talking about Taysom Hill? We're doing Indianapolis radio. Are they talking about Taysom Hill?
Absolutely
we
not.
need to replace Mo Alley Cox with Taysom Hill.
No, they're not. They're not doing that. When I was driving in and listening to the morning show talk about this, I was trying to figure out like what this is like. And I don't know, maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. But you ever you and I kind of grew up in the same means of a household where I didn't have the latest and greatest of stuff, but I'd go over to my homeboy Billy, and Billy and Eric's mom worked hard. Not that my parents didn't, but they had cooler things than I did. You know what I mean? And I'd get to Billy's house, and he'd be playing with a toy that I didn't even know was out yet. And I'm like, yo, you have all the wrestling buddies over there. Why don't we play with those?
Right.
And he's like, no, that's old news, bro. I'm on to this stuff. That's what Taysom Hill is. That's what Broncos country's looking at him as of like, wow, look at all those toys. And the Saints like, yeah, we don't even play with him anymore. We're on to this new stuff over here. And you want that? That's just, I don't get it, man. If Taysom Hill, the only way, and I don't even like this that much. All right, you're going to come and sign a 1-year deal vets minimum. That's it. That's the only way.
Where would he fit? Even that, brother, I push back on you with this because
I'm not saying I want it, but that's the only way I'd be okay with it.
But even that, it's like, what? Then you've got Adam Troutman, 100-year-old Taysom Hill, Lucas Kroll can't remember the plays, Donald Parham can't get on the 53.
Yeah. Lucas Kroll,
Nate Atkins is...
He's gone, right? What's his deal? What's his
probably
contract?
gone. Right. He's probably gone. But then this tight end room needs new blood, not the old stuff.
Young blood,
not the old stuff, not the hey, let's just rekindle everything with every former Saint. Just put them on the coaching staff, put them on the roster, and then please let them age out so we don't have to talk about this. And any former Saint that comes up, well, what would he do? Sean Payton could go back to the well. He didn't win anything with these guys. So why do you want him here?
Yeah.
You want a championship here. This isn't a championship pedigree that he would be plucking from.
Mm-hmm. Jim says, right on, fellas. Taysom Hill's the jack of all trades, master of none. No need for him on the Broncos roster. Oh, he said Schlereth is 100% wrong on this. Yeah,
Wait, Schlereth wanted him?
Schlereth was the one pumping his tires.
Whoa.
Then Stoke actually talked him off the ledge a little bit, and
yeah.
Stink came back around and said, you know what, Stoke's probably right on this.
Okay, well,
So
good.
He did come back around. Great job, Brandon Stokely, for getting Mark Schlereth on the right side.
I thought it was Evans I could publicly shame, but if it's Stink, I always hesitate a little bit.
Yeah. There's another good one. Broncos fans just get caught up in fantasy football. Myles Garrett, Deebo Samuels, Taysom, Cup. Let's move forward, y'all. Yeah, I think that's very well said. Now, Myles Garrett's still got a lot more tank than the rest of those guys you mentioned, but I'm with you. I'm with you on the get rid of the touchy-feely, oh, it feels good. What a storyline. Who cares about that? You know what's a good storyline? Getting young players, developing those players, keeping all of your assets moving forward, and building a roster that can compete and win a damn Super Bowl. And they're on their way to doing that. So don't interrupt the process that you've already started just to get all up in your feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Screw your feelings right now.
Yeah, it's about winning. And it's about winning going forward, moving forward. How do you move forward when you're always looking back?
That's right.
Right?
A great man once told me, you have 1 foot in the future, 1 foot in the past. Where are you standing at presently? I always think about that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. There's a former boss, actually. I'm like, where's this been the whole time?
Why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you tell me? Yeah, you don't need this. You don't need to keep looking back and like, let's go just rekindle everything. I don't want Sean to have all the old Saints because they didn't win anything. They did in 2009. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah, right. Right.
Okay, 15 years ago. I'm going to play that console from 15 years ago. I'm going to use that cell phone from 15 years ago. I'm going to, why would you do that?
Oh, actually, speaking of consoles, I owe you and Big E an apology.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I fell asleep on the couch at 9:30 on a Saturday night.
I sent you 2 messages, girl.
How? I know I'm not the only one. How can I stay up till 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night playing video games?
Yeah.
But then come Friday or Saturday, I can't keep my eyes open past 9 p.m. Is that just old? Am I just an old washed guy now? How does that work? Why am I always tired on the weekends?
Don't know.
It's because, I text you. I get up early on Saturday mornings for basketball.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, it's tough. I do need that Mountain Dew. You text me that.
I was going to say, there's such a thing called Mountain Dew.
Yeah, so I apologize.